Gasps filled the Las Vegas federal courtroom as the judge delivered the final verdict. Rick Harrison and Austin Chumlee Russell, overwhelmed by the weight of their sentences, collapsed in shock. The dramatic scene left spectators stunned, highlighting the intense emotions surrounding the case. But what led to this shocking courtroom confrontation between the beloved Pawn Stars' personalities and the justice system? Here's everything you need to know about the explosive legal battle that brought the History Channel icons to their knees. Harrison and Russell were widely regarded as two of the most influential figures in reality television, celebrated for their contrasting personalities, historical knowledge, and unparalleled ability to bring authenticity to every episode of History Channel's hit show Pawn Stars. Their careers, spanning over a decade on television, included iconic moments such as high-stakes negotiations, historical discoveries, and memorable interactions that captivated millions of viewers worldwide. However, their legacy extends far beyond their television achievements. Their influence on the collectibles market, their contributions to popularizing history, and their deliberate decision to build a tourist empire in Las Vegas all paint a picture of entrepreneurs who transformed a family pawn shop into a global phenomenon. Harrison's television career was built on a foundation of sharp business acumen, historical expertise, and an unwavering commitment to the deal. Despite facing early skepticism about the show's concept, he refused to let doubters define him. Instead, he channeled his determination into building both the gold and silver pawn shop and its television presence, eventually earning his place as one of the most recognizable businessmen in America. His performances earned him critical acclaim, solidifying his status as a shrewd but fair face of the pawn industry. What set Harrison apart was his ability to educate viewers about historical artifacts with a depth and accessibility that resonated deeply with audiences across demographics. While their television work made them famous, their behind-the-scenes business ventures showed their entrepreneurial minds. After building their personal brands through the show, they diversified with restaurants, retail stores, and personal appearances that made them millions. Money that would later become central to the legal war that threatened to permanently destroy their carefully constructed empire. The aftermath of Pawn Stars' success saw both the legitimate business and alleged criminal enterprise take dramatically different paths. The gold and silver pawn shop's trajectory skyrocketed after the show's debut, becoming one of Las Vegas's most popular tourist destinations, with millions of visitors annually. Their careful approach to merchandising, coupled with strong brand recognition, positioned them as resilient symbols of American entrepreneurship. Meanwhile, federal investigators faced immediate challenges. The complex network of transactions, spanning multiple states and business entities, initially presented formidable obstacles. A fraction of the evidence that would eventually emerge, the stark contrast between the public-facing business and the alleged underground operation, created tensions that would intensify over years. "We built this business on knowledge and fair deals," Harrison frequently told reporters during the early investigation. "But scrutiny makes you stronger. I was determined to cooperate fully, especially when the allegations seemed so disconnected from our actual operations." This determination fueled a methodical and increasingly public approach to their defense. While many targets of federal investigations might have avoided comment entirely, Harrison and Russell maintained careful transparency about the process while asserting their innocence. Press conferences discussing the investigation's impact on their business gained sympathetic coverage, establishing them as victims of overzealous prosecution. The early 2020s saw the contrast between public support and mounting evidence intensify, as both reached new levels. Fan campaigns proclaiming their innocence gained millions of followers, while prosecutors quietly assembled financial records that painted an increasingly troubling picture of a sophisticated criminal enterprise operating behind a legitimate pawn business. Behind the scenes, however, Harrison and Russell struggled with the accelerating legal pressure that threatened to expose their alleged operation problems. Their legal team addressed them with increasingly complex strategies, facing allegations. "So contrary to our public image has been devastating," Harrison admitted in a rare candid interview. "We turned to what we know best, transparency and facts, and hoped it would be enough." This public defense contrasted sharply with the prosecution's increasingly focused operation. By 2022, the gap between public persona and alleged criminal activity had become enormous. While supporters maintained belief in their innocence, federal prosecutors had assembled a case involving over $15 million in illegal transactions and elaborate schemes to launder money through the pawn shop that would soon become public in the most dramatic way possible. What finally triggered the criminal charges after years of investigation was a discovery during a 2022 audit of previously sealed financial records by forensic accountant Thomas Richards. "I found these sophisticated transaction patterns in their business accounts," Richards explained in a congressional hearing that quickly made rounds among financial crime experts. "You can clearly see systematic efforts to move illicit funds with resources flowing to the legitimate business, specifically designed to conceal their origins." The financial records became a major topic in legal circles, with law enforcement agencies analyzing the complex web of transactions between the pawn shop and various shell companies. A week later, prosecutors revealed documents that estimated the operation had laundered approximately $15.7 million with elaborate structures designed to conceal the activity for years. "These weren't simple accounting errors," the lead prosecutor told the grand jury. "These structures required deliberate planning and maintenance over many years, with both Harrison and Russell playing key roles." This mounting evidence revealing an alleged pattern of financial crimes seemed to be the final catalyst. Within weeks, federal prosecutors assembled a case and filed multiple charges against Harrison and Russell, including money laundering, conspiracy, and racketeering, which carry potential life sentences if convicted on all counts. The charges weren't just about money. These allegations represented a fundamental challenge to their core public image, that of honest businessmen whose knowledge and fair dealing had made them television icons. The legal action sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, with experts calling it potentially the most significant case involving reality television personalities in history. Court filings reveal startling details about the alleged criminal enterprise operating behind the pawn shop. Internal communications from 2018 showed that multiple associates had actually warned about potential exposure. However, concerns about maintaining their public image led to a calculated decision. "Current structure presents unacceptable detection risk," read one confidential document, recommending immediate reorganization before proceeding with additional transactions. Day one of the trial set the tone as Harrison and Russell entered the courtroom. Financial investigators visibly watched their every move. Government attorneys arranged stacks of financial records before them. The beloved television personalities who had entertained millions had finally reached their legal reckoning. "Your Honor, this case is about systematic money laundering on a massive scale," the prosecutor opened. "A carefully constructed facade of legitimate business while deliberately processing millions in illicit funds." The trial quickly became intense when the newly discovered financial records were displayed in court. Harrison was seen shaking his head emphatically, occasionally leaning to whisper to his attorneys when particularly damaging evidence was presented. Russell, meanwhile, appeared increasingly distressed as the prosecution outlined his alleged role during cross-examination. Tensions escalated. Agent Miller was asked, "Is it your testimony that Mr. Harrison personally directed these transactions?" The prosecutor continued, "His signature appears on all key authorizations." The FBI investigator responded firmly, "And these signatures authorized the creation of shell companies specifically designed to hide the source of funds." The courtroom grew particularly tense during testimony about the timeline of the alleged operation. "Would you say these financial structures were sophisticated enough to indicate deliberate intent?" questioned the prosecutor. "They required extensive planning and maintenance," the financial expert replied tersely. Harrison, visibly agitated, adjusted his glasses. The judge warned, "Please maintain a quorum in my courtroom." Financial experts testified about the elaborate nature of the alleged money laundering operation. These structures were designed with one primary purpose: to conceal the origin of funds, testified Dr. Eleanor Jenkins, forensic accounting expert from Georgetown University. The multiple layers of transactions serve no legitimate business purpose. The defense focused on a legitimate aspect of their business and the potential misunderstanding of complex financial arrangements, arguing that they relied on professional advisors and had no criminal intent.